Fuck yeah. Alright, today's book of the day is The Way of Men. I'm trying to speak softly because it's 3:30 in the morning and my roommates are asleep, but I'll get it done real quick. Um, I enjoyed this book. It's probably considered horribly politically incorrect. It has some pretty extreme views. Um, in terms of society and stuff. I honestly don't disagree. Economically, they're not the most sound. I'll get into it in a little bit, but basically, he describes masculinity and he describes them in four virtues. And I believe they were strength, honor, courage, and mastery. And a lot of it he does like kind of like an evolutionary biology perspective, looking at things in terms of like these are the things that made masculinity throughout time. He also looks at like modern versions of masculinity and how that manifests into like certain terms of intellectual, ethical versions of kind of masculinity. Freaking, let's see, what do we got here? I'll just read some quick notes that I liked. So, like, without strength, he says you're probably not that masculine. And number one is strength is the ability to exert one's will over oneself, over nature, and over other people. I was like, that was a good definition. For men, deep inside, the circle of manliness becomes increasingly metaphorical. Men who did not other men who did other work could satisfy their need to be seen as men among by fighting metaphorically, showing social courage, mastering their desires, and behaving ethically. He's like talking about more modern men. You'll want men who are competent, who can get the job done. Basically executors, people that execute. People want people that can just get shit done. People that are not like know that they're gonna step up when she gets tough. And the truth is like a lot of this stuff is very true because it all comes back from like a biological perspective of like we spent hundreds of thousands of years, if not million. Homo sapiens has been around that long, but like our ancestors and kind of the hardwiring, the 2 million year self is maybe someone else might say responds to these things. We respond to like there's something archetypal genetic that we respond to this. Courage. What were the awesome notes on courage? There was something about this that that I liked, which was essentially that like going into war for others or like fearlessly going, no, maybe not even fearlessly, just going into battle is like really respected and not because you're forced to. There was something like, I really like these Roman things where like basically there's a story of this man who was like getting threatened, like, look, I'm gonna throw you into the fire. And the man willingly puts his hand into the fire and he's like, look, this is just a fucking body. Like, who gives a fuck? Let's go to war. And like, I'm just like, whoa, what type of, we don't have that type of fucking manliness character in our society today. And it was just like a startling ring. Let's see. This is his definition of courage. Courage is the will to risk harm in order to benefit oneself or others. It is the most basic amoral form of courage. It is a willingness or passion, desire to fight or hold ground at any cost. Gameness, heart, spirit, thumos. In the most developed civilized moral form of courage is considered a decisive willingness to risk harm and ensue success for several of a group or another person. Courage, virtues, and dunya. Alright, let's see here. Mastery. Mastery is basically is a man's desire and ability to cultivate and demonstrate proficiency and expertise in techniques that aid in exertion of will over himself, over nature, over man, women, over other men. Sounding a lot like strength, But this is more of like a demonstrating over techniques, mastery over techniques, and then honor, which is interesting because like I try to like promote this, like, who cares what other people think? Who cares? Like, go off. Like, society has dumb thinking, but like there is something to be said about honors a man's reputation for strength, courage, and mastery within the context of a honor group comprised primarily of other men. So like, I might say not give a fuck what other people think, but at the end of the day, you need your tribe, you need your gang, and he emphasizes this in this book. Like, whether your gang is in the fucking PUA community, whether your gang is in a school or and like the gang isn't like a violent gang. It's more of like a term more for your gathering, your tribe, your group of people, your homies, whatever it is, your family, the people that in your men in your life. And like he talks about, like, we naturally set up in gangs. We naturally set up. This is like, again, biological, that like we came from packs of 150 to 200 people, maybe somewhere around there is what evolutionary biologists think, and that's like how we kind of organize ourselves, and we like kind of get in these little packs of people, and like that's how we do our best. Anyway, honor is a concern for one's reputation for strength, courage, and mastery within the context of an honor group comprised primarily of other men. We really care about what other men think. We care about women thinking in today's society terms, but not as much as other men, mainly because we always live in patriarchal societies. He talks about the like dishonoring, calling people gay. It's not necessarily a homophobia. It's about fear of being gay or of homos, but it's a fear of demasculinization. And he talks about this like back in the day. It was like he had some pretty cool quotes in here that, you know, we've all heard of. It's like basically like, if I let this man like take my chicken, I might as well let him rape my wife and my daughters. It's like it's a fear of being put down, and you know, a highly masculine culture. It's like you don't let anyone disrespect you, and you see this in gangs too. And it was like that before there was a lot of law and order. Then he talks about on being a good man. So there's a difference between on being a good man and being good at being a man. And being a good man, he refers to is, he said a pretty good quote in here. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see, the difference between being a good man and a man. So there is a difference, and being a good man has to do with the ideas of morality, ethics, religion, and behaving productively within a given civilization structure. Being a good man may or may not have anything to do at all with the natural role of a man. In survival scenario, it is possible to be a good man without being particularly good at being a man. This is an area where men who are good at being men have sought counsel from priests, philosophers, shamans, writers, and historians. The productive synergy between these kind of men is sadly lost when men of words and ideas pit themselves against men of action, or vice versa. Men of ideas and men of action have much to learn from each other, and truly great are men of both action and abstraction. Now, being good at being a man is about being willing and able to fulfill the natural role of men in survival scenario. Being good at being a man is about showing other men that you are the kind of guy that they'd want on their own team if the shit hit the fan. Being good at being a man isn't a quest for moral perfection, it's a fight to survive. Good men admire or respect bad men when they demonstrate strength, courage, and mastery, or commitment to the men of their own renegade tribes. A concern with being a good at being a man is what good guys and bad guys have in common. A man is more concerned with being a good man than being a man makes a very well-behaved slave. So we know what his thoughts are on that. He goes on to talk about kind of like different versions of more modern masculinity. He goes into like vicarious masculinity of war games, individual sports, and stuff that demonstrates mastery, courage, or whatever. intellectual masculinity, and economic, political, metaphorical, and aesthetic views. He goes into, I literally like this chapter. It's the Bombo Masturbation Society, basically looking at like we live in a modern society that's like pretty much 100% comfort. It's not about it's not anything that like we've done in the past. And basically we're becoming weak and weak and weak. And he kind of has this like view of like we always lived in patriarchal societies. The women's movement is kind of like putting down men hardcore. The men's movement is just like saying the women are right, but like let's not let them, like let's not be naive enough to think that like this women's movement is, they're not going to use this to their advantage to put us down even more, like put us down. And like let's just make things equal, not like let's have women leverage like things to give them a heads up, which like fairly is like, if I was a woman I'd be doing that. Like come on now. I just liked it because it was just like a lot of like, he talks about this like Bombo, like these monkeys that basically are like, if you're not familiar, Google it. It's pretty interesting because they basically are just ravenous, humping society that just have sex in funny ways all day long, and not many creatures quite like that one. And yeah, like a society like that. So he's like translating as like that monkey society into our modern day society. It's kind of funny because like basically, like in the Bombo society, let's see, sexuality for pleasure and socialization. That's what it is, pretty much in my society. Female alliances, yes. Male alliances, not as much. Hunting priority, low. Readily available resources. We have readily available resources. The hunting, the scarcity, it's going down and down. We live in a comfortable society. We're getting lazier and lazier. Homosexuality, frequent, common. Yeah. Political dominance. Shared but female coalitions have most influence. Male parent bonding, mothers, basically males batter females, no. Males rape females. He says, why bother? And this is in the Bombo like society, but like he's like pinning this against maybe a chimpanzee society, and like very different. And the chimpanzee is like more of what we are like, but we've become this like kind of society that is changing because of modern times, and frankly men are not men like they used to be, as he claims. There's nothing wrong with any of the, let's see if I, it's already becoming a fucking 13-minute video. There's a whole section I wanted to read about like from this chapter, but I'll skip it. I like this point. So like basically like in today's society, like we don't have something we're really fighting for. Men are kind of like lost, and we're just looking to have like stimulated pleasure through video games, through like just like silly stimulation. What are all the examples he gives? You know, it's like the TV, it's the masturbation. And maybe you should go get a wife and like have a couple of kids. If you're not into that, you could go get drunk and party. You could go hump everything around. It's like a pleasure society. Go hump everything. Go off and like whatever. That's your like maybe pseudo. You're the man. Look at him. But you know, it doesn't have these like traits that he's talking about. Maybe you'll like get a motorcycle and try to get risky, but at the end of the day, maybe you'll get into gardening or like tinker with cars. Maybe become a movie buff. Maybe you'll just read too many books. Whatever it is, you'll busy yourself. And he says there's nothing wrong with any of these things. All of them are fun, quote unquote. What is fun, quote unquote? If not masturbating your primal brain a little. You know, he's not like saying anything bad on fun, but he's just like you're directionless pussies almost is like what he's inferring here. He goes on a couple say like what's the future and blah blah blah. He suggests that you like, and I'm gonna have to do this. Like I see this as vital importance, especially if you're on like a mission and it's challenging as fuck. You got like to create coalition of people around you. And he talks about in the last chapter building a gang, building a fraternity, building a group of people, and like men push each other to new levels. I know I'm a competitive ass motherfucker. I like love the competition. It drives me to levels that I didn't even think was possible. Something turns on in me, and like it's not about anything. It's about winning, and that could be like unhealthy psychologically. I should be competing against myself, man. But at the end of the day, like that shit gets results, and it's a strength and a weakness because I can take it overboard. But that's not the point. The point is like if you're going through some tough channel, like if you're going through something incredibly tough, create a team, create a group of people on the same purpose, and if you're a man, do it. If you're a woman, like I don't believe any of these things. Like he says, it's very biological. I think his point of view is like you're a man. It's a very biological thing. I think women can take on quite masculine traits, quote unquote masculine. I use this in kind of funny terms. Don't think it's man and woman, but yeah, I think that the tribe is vital. Get a tribe, make a tribe, contrive a tribe, and you know tribes evolve. People get kicked out. Team breaks up. Better teams evolve. Make it happen. Push yourself. Get out of the fucking comfort zone. Be courageous. Execute your strength. Build on it. Develop self-mastery. Honor will come. And you know, and the one thing about honor is that I kind of say fuck honor. Like, fuck honor. Like, in today's society, like, fuck honor within the society to a certain extent. You know, give your gift, do your thing, and society will appreciate it. Maybe it won't, but that shouldn't stop you from doing it.